As astrology moves away from the traditional divine fortune telling, I think more and more serious learners are looking for a way for astrology to be deeper, more impactful, and much more transformative for the person who is receiving a reading. So hi there, my name is May Sim and I'm the founder of Astrology Academy. Now, one of the courses that we are most well known for is the Psychological Astrology Course, or what we call the PA course. Now, one of the reasons why our students really love combining psychology together with astrology is that if we think of astrology as being like a profiling tool, the idea is that if the astrological chart describes ways in which we behave, the way we communicate, the way we behave in romantic relationships or attitudes towards money, for example, and that it's not really that big of a stretch for many people to see the connection between psychology or how we've experienced things in our lives. And it also describes how and why people have different reactions to various situations. Now, you might be very interested in the Psychological Astrology course if you are one of the following profiles of people. Now, first of all, you could be a serious learner, someone who has studied astrology for many years. You've been on the internet, you've read thousands of books, but it's still difficult to sort of put an interpretation together that can pinpoint where these problems are coming from. So psychological astrology allows us to really get into why some people have issues like suspicions, paranoia, this constant feeling of not feeling good enough, for example, these things. And the second profile, you could also be someone who is a coach or a mentor. Perhaps you're a teacher or you're a leader in a corporate organization. And sometimes all we want to do is to be able to help people to diagnose where things like lack of confidence is coming from, and why some people often feel that no matter how hard they work, is that funny feeling of maybe not quite being in the right position, or perhaps that their skills are not being used. And you'll find that PA is another great way to profile people for how they can get a much more fulfilling career and how to use what some of my students call their superpowers. And there is a third category of people who are at crossroads in your life. And it could be that all these problems that I've mentioned before may apply not to the people that you're trying to coach, but it might apply to you yourself. In fact, in our experience, we found that even people who are coaches and mentors may also run into issues of confidence or feeling like you are not good enough to be in that profession that you choose to be in. And if you are at crossroads, sometimes it's quite useful to also see where are all these negative thoughts coming from. And also, what's more important is how can we then turn those negative perspectives and ideas into ways that can be contributive and to really make a difference in society. And so some of the problems that I find that PA can really solve is that, number one, can we go deeper? And number two, is there a very good framework for us to be able to, through a chart, be able to fill it into a very simple profile framework so that we can very easily say whether a person has a profile or not. And we also need a framework to be able to tell if a person has multiple profiles in any given situation, which profile might be more dominant. So it solves those problems, and also I think most importantly helps an astrologer to be able to guide people into what some people describe as their life purpose. And to me, a life purpose isn't just saying that, perhaps you need to go and be a humanitarian, but I think it's more important as to why a humanitarian, where does it come from, and what kind of humanitarian you would like to be. So in this course, we also find that the sharing of real-life situations among our students, there's nothing like learning from actual people as opposed to memorizing points from a textbook or from a website. We've seen many of our students come in to sort of share some of the real-life situations, the histories that have come out, and we also see that people with similar profiles can sometimes have similar reactions to various scenarios. And it's very powerful when one person can say to another person, oh wow, I just didn't realize that I'm not the only person who feels that way. And realizing that other people from very different backgrounds can actually share your perspectives and to also share the same kind of difficulties. And what's even better is that the solution to helping both of these people be able to achieve a personal breakthrough can be just as simple as them applying the exact same framework to their own lives. So if you are watching this, you could be somebody who is really looking for a solid astrological course, one that doesn't just teach you technique, but also gets you to be able to look at life in a much more impactful manner. And if this is you, do check out the information that's available here. You will have to start first with a beginner's introduction to astrology course, but thereafter you will be able to join us in the PA course. So until then, I'll see you in class.